Hey, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Jason Heyward is one of my favorite baseball players of all time. He grew up in Atlanta, which was like a couple of hours from where I grew up. Always been one of my favorite players. All the accolades in baseball he's won, but this conversation isn't that. This conversation is about the father he is, the presence that he has, what he's doing in the community, lessons that he's learned, and just hearing his story his way is awesome. We're going to wrap it up at the end. You're going to hear who his GOAT of baseball is, and it might surprise you, maybe it won't. And we'll talk about his favorite baseball stadium and his favorite pregame meal as well. But this is a lesson for leaders to learn about presence, to learn about dedication, to learn about how to really connect with people and connect in your community. So without further ado, this is my guy, Jay Hay himself, Jason Hay. This is Mick Unplugged. Let us uncover the because, that thing that drives you, that thing that fuels you. I'm ready if you are. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Mick Unplugged. And today, I'm sitting here with one of my baseball GOATs. I'm talking about a man who is a multiple Gold Glove winner, a World Series champion, and just an overall great human being. His impact extends beyond the baseball field. He inspires millions with his dedication and profound insights into teamwork and personal growth. Please join me in welcoming the exceptional, the influential, the incomparable, Jay Hay, Jason Heyward. Jason, how you doing today, brother?
Great, Nick. I appreciate you, man. I really appreciate that intro. You know, it's always humbling to hear what others feel about you, the way they feel, or your impact that you might have made on them and their mentality. So, man, I appreciate you having me on today.
Bro, I'm the honored one. Like I said, I followed your career forever. I grew up in Greenville, South Carolina, just outside of Greenville, South Carolina. So when we hear of superstars, man, and I know it wasn't just baseball, but I like to tell people you were a prodigy, man. Like you were a youngin' doing big things. And a lot of people don't realize how young you were when you actually got drafted, man, to be drafted at 17 and to move up the ranks. And I want to talk through a lot of that, but I love asking my guests, what's their because, their deep purpose into doing the things that you do? And I know you do a ton off the field. We were just talking about family before we press record, man. Like today, why does Jason Heyward continue to do what he does?
I appreciate that question because, to your point, getting drafted at 17 years old out of high school, getting into college, signing to go to school with UCLA, baseball and education solved a lot of my intent and my why. You know, shoot as high as possible, see where things fall, put my best foot forward. And today, at 36 years old, 16 years later, major league career-wise, now having 3 kids, being married, I'm Tata to my kids. So that's dad in Yugoslavia and my wife being from Montenegro. So like for me, it helps me to say my purpose to them, be someone who is dedicated to his craft, whether that's baseball, whether that's baseball academy in North Austin, just outside of Chicago. And then like being the best version of myself fitness-wise, right? Like just maintaining a routine to be able to get home after workouts like I'm doing today and then jump on with them, whether that's get them in the pool, whether that's work out with Messi if he wants to like kind of practice some baseball or golf before he goes into his lessons. So I just think it's very important to be an influence. You know, I was one of the very fortunate people to grow up in a household with both parents, my brother Jacob and I, my parents being Ivy League grads, my dad going to engineering school, right, playing basketball at Dartmouth, which is where my parents met. So I just want to one day be that conversation that when someone asks my kids, like, hey, like, what were one of the bigger influences for you? And that could be right there in the household as their tata, as their dad, and V and I enjoy being their parents.
Man, that's amazing. And to me, that defines who you are. And I'm going to say a word that I think is going to resonate because what you don't know, Jason, I didn't want to tell you this before, but I've seen you play probably 15 times because when I say you're one of my GOATs, one of my favorites, it's obviously what you do on the field. But the first couple of times I got to go to a game that you played at, I got to see how you interacted with your teammates, how they looked at you, the managers, the coaches, and the fans. And then I got to learn more about your story. You talked about your parents and family and what they mean to you. There's one word that I would use to describe Jason Heyward, and it is this: present. I think you work incredibly hard to be present for the people that matter to you, for the people that look up to you. And that's what drew me to really calling you one of my favorites. Like again, what you do on the field is amazing. That's second to none. Those stats can speak for themselves. But when people watch Jason Heyward interact, when you go to an academy or you go to an event, a venue, and you see Jason Heyward and just how he interacts with people and how you're present, man, like I think that is your superpower, bro.
Really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And for anyone watching, listening that doesn't know what I want to give them perspective. You've seen me play in person 15 times. That's a lot. Even over a 16-year career, for somebody to be able to see someone one time, you get lucky, right? Growing up as a baseball fan. So the fact that you've seen me 15 times, I appreciate you, showing up and paying attention that way. But no, I think present is a great way to put it. And I think I've always done my best to do that. But winning on the baseball, on the playing side, has been a big part of that, right? I've been on winning teams my whole life. So just understanding the value of being present with my teammates, all the people you mentioned, coaching staff, even fans as you get to the professional level, just not taking it for granted. And so just I've done my best to enjoy the ride, enjoy the friendships, enjoy the camaraderies, the ups, downs, which are a part of life. So yeah, being present is what I've done my best to do. But I also want to give like this insight on from 20 years old making my debut to now 36 years old. I was introduced to this game into the business world, into the real world very quickly. And so I had to continue to learn who I could be present for, right? Like how many things I can give away of my energy and my space because you have to do the best to be the best version of yourself while also when it's most important, like give what you can give to those who are most important to you. So that's been something fun and very important to learn along.
And that leads to a question I want to ask you because, again, I've got to see you in person many times and just how you do that. And then knowing that, your children mean the world to you, your wife and all your family mean the world to you. How do you balance that? Because I know there are a lot of people that are watching and that are listening that are like, yeah, I own businesses or I'm a leader within my community and I always have a lot of touch points, right? And you get that. You have a lot of touch points. How do you balance and prioritize your presence?
Much like baseball, you have to be real about imperfection. Like that's a part of life. And so understanding every situation, especially stepping outside of baseball into the business world, into the nonprofit world, into inner city communities, and really seeing like everyone operates differently.
Yeah.
The structure is not the same. And so that being said, just doing my best to put my best foot forward, like take the small victories do my best at getting uncomfortable and realizing, hey, I may need to reach out to this person more, or I may need to go greet these people differently. Versus sometimes you need to sit back and let other people speak and let other people grow. So I think just the more situations that I can put myself into and that I put myself into over time where I'm like, okay, this one I need to look at differently. This one I realized today what I did well, what I could probably improve on, and then also just hey, this was just something new. And the only way to get an understanding of and perspective on something is just keep showing up. Keep taking that different phone call, keep taking that different meeting. When someone asks, hey, do you want to do something? I remember like at 2025, I would kind of say, no, I'm just gonna stick to like doing my best to get my foot down and go making a go play in right field, right? Which is great. I've been compensated very well for that over time, but that's not the end all be all. And so when you ask about the balance, I think it's getting comfortable with the chaos, which life throws us. There's always going to be something new, always going to be something different. And lastly, just have your anchor. Like, what are your like must haves to start your day? What's your process that you want to have, whether it's wake up and having that cup of coffee, whether it's having that banana and vitamins, that stretch, that workout, maybe you're reading something, like whatever it looks like to the individual. I think you have your anchor and your structure, and then you're able to deviate from there and just flow with life.
Man, that last part, we have so much in common because I teach individuals and corporate leaders that is identifying your must haves. Like I start every single morning with my list of three must haves. What are the three things that are non negotiable today? And it should be different every day, right? Like, because I learned from the day before what my priorities are going to be for that day. But we have that in common, man. And I don't think people understand how important that really is having non-negotiable every day. Like I have 3 because I can tolerate 3, but I think everybody should at least have 1 non-negotiable every day that they're working on. What do you think about that?
I love that. And then for me, it's when you say they fluctuate, like they may change. The day before, you might have taken something, like tomorrow I want to look at this and get caught up to speed on this. Or if I don't know something, maybe I need to do some research. Or if I have a question, right? Or you may need to get back to someone. So I really appreciate how having 3 non-negotiables, at least picking one at a minimum, just what can you do to get yourself better to start the day? Right? Like I think that's a nice way to look at it, and then to kind of give people I don't want to say end result because life is it's not forever, but as long as we're living it, you keep living, and it always changes. Just to give people like the result of it, so to speak, that's how you build your comfort. People
Right.
ask, "Oh, how do you feel so comfortable doing this?" Or how do you become so present? Well, there's a lot of stuff that I don't know and I will never know, but the more that we put in our basket as an individual, the more we say, today I want to do this, and I'm not going to let anything stop me from learning this. So I'm not going to let anything stop me from figuring this out. I think the more comfort we build, and it's one day at a time.
One of the other things that I know you do really well off the field, because it shows on the field, is decision making, right? Like you don't win defensive player of the year, you don't win multiple gold gloves without decision making. Like a lot of people may just look and see, yeah, you're out in the field, you see the ball, you go run to the ball, but there's a lot that goes into that strategy. I want to go early on and talk about decision making because you had a big one at 17. Do I go to UCLA or do I take this offer? And talk us through that and how you learned decision making, and then ultimately how you made the decision to take the Braves offer.
Well, just being real, I feel like I was empowered by my parents. They allowed me to feel like I had support. And every day, or not every day, but they would, my pops being the college athlete, my mom being well educated, they would just make sure, hey, like, you want to keep playing baseball? I'm like, yes. You want to keep going to these workouts? Yes. You want to keep doing these showcases? Absolutely. Then I had a decision to make getting to high school. My pops was like, you can play basketball this winter, or you can do showcases for baseball. You were not going to do both. That's going to be a lot. Him being real on like what our means were. He's like, but you choose. I go, I think I'm going to do these baseball showcases. In my mind, basketball, I could play and compete, right? I'm like, I'll get my fix there, but I want to continue seeing what I can do to be the next Ken Griffey Jr., to be an Atlanta Brave, to be a New York Yankee, Derek Jeter. That's what I was curious about. That was my non-negotiable at the time growing up. And so then getting to my senior year, my pops asked me again, one more time as he's taking me to like a workout in East Cobb up from Henry County. He's like, hey man, like, you sure you want to keep doing this? And I gave him a look. I was like, bro, like, you gonna have to stop asking me that. Cause I'm like, we're here now. If you're thinking about turning around, I said, let me out. Cause I'm about to figure out how I can get up there. He's like, no, I'm just asking, man. I'm just asking. But coming up to that decision with Atlanta, with the draft, again, education was a big driver for me. Baseball was a big reason why I wanted to get my education, to be able to continue progress, be able to continue moving forward. Getting into UCLA, my great uncle, Kenneth Washington, played for John Wooden there, played basketball for UCLA, came off the bench, all the things, beat Duke in a national title. That was my reason for being able to get over to UCLA and explore them. Now, coming out of the South. You know the South, Mick. Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, everything close by. For me to get west, I had to have another reason, and that was family. And so that was a nice way for me to see the world, see, hey, like, this is not just the South. See Beverly Hills, see California, see Pasadena, see the Rose Bowl, get that experience, get those vibes. And so I had other things to factor in with my decision, which helped me out a lot. In fact, All-American game was in San Diego. So I also got to see West Coast again, and see baseball out there and see the presentation and the way it was done, progressing to that next level and what I was hoping to be a high draft pick. And that was always my mentality. See how high I can be drafted, see where things fall. But you have one goal. See if you can be number one overall and work with that mentality, and it'll fall where it's supposed to fall. And coming down to it, Atlanta being the 14th pick on draft day, in my mind, I'm like, Well, I hear them. They say they're going to take me. There's also a few other teams that say they're going to take me before them. There's some that are saying that they're going to take me after them, all in the first round. But I'm like, you know what? I don't believe it until I see it. I get the phone call from Atlanta. They say they're going to draft me. And I'm like, okay, we're here. Now is my time to make this decision. My parents again say, no, it's your choice. Even with my uncle, my great uncle in my ear, Kenny Washington, saying, hey, I think you should go to UCLA. I think it's a great network for you. I think it's a great way to grow. You'll have that after sports. Respectfully, I've driven up and down the highway. I've passed Turner Field, been to some baseball games, been to some playoff games in Atlanta, watched Braves and Yankees in the 90s. Those are my two teams. My mom being from New York, dad being from South Carolina, us growing up in Georgia. So I'm like, no, if I've come this far, being drafted in the first round, with things as they are in the Atlanta Braves organization, I think I'm doing myself a disservice for all this time I put in to go to college, right? Because then what are we shooting for after that? After being drafted 14 overall, so that went into my decision. The opportunity to get education after was also in my mind. That was something that I had to fall back on if I wanted to. But still to this day, that mentality has been if I need to go back to school, I will. If there's something that's going to block me or be a variable that's a non-negotiable, I'll figure that out. But I put a lot of time into my parents put a lot of time into physically, mentally, losing sleep, financially, for me to be in a position to be drafted in the first round. And I said, no, let's go do this and let's start this process and see where the chips fall.
I love it, man. I love it. And we have this in common too. I was not a baseball first round draft pick, but UCLA was actually my first love. And although I'm a Tar Heel and I'm a Tar Heel through and through, when it came time to select college, I actually wanted to go to UCLA. I've been a Tar Heel and a Georgia Bulldog my whole life, but I wanted to go to UCLA. Anybody that's 16, 17 that goes out to the campus, you know why I wanted to go to UCLA. But with my parents being from South Carolina, it was like they were never going to see me. And so I was like, North Carolina it is. But yeah, that campus is beautiful. I'll just say
No, beautiful campus, like a mile long, right? You can see the whole thing from both ends, and
yeah,
then it's like to your point, it's a melting pot, right? Of people who obviously want to progress, but also don't mind being in LA. So coming from the South, you see that you're like, all right, man. Well, if I can go to school here and get better and learn something on the way, and then still have this as a network, that's great. But I feel like, I mean, as you know, and as a lot of people know, our Heels and Bulldogs, you also have some very strong alums and coaches there in both of those universities.
absolutely, absolutely. You know, I could talk about your career all day, Jason, but I think your career speaks for itself. I want to talk to you about the things that people don't see, man. The academies, the things that you do in the community, the passions that you have on the field, but off the field. Talk to us about uh, your academies, the foundations that you have that you're doing in the community first and foremost.
Well, this Heyward Baseball Academy um, came about the idea in 2020 on name by the name of Donita Travis, who's the head of the nonprofit By the Hand Club. And it's we could say or whatever, free plug for them, this and that, but it's undeniable for me for the work they've done in inner cities with education. And when they say by the hand, they literally from pre-K, elementary, middle, high school, college, into their profession, they make sure that the individuals' families are loved and given a lot of exposure and taken care of. So that being said, 2020 was the first time the world stopped in unison, in a long time. But the sports world, right? That was I feel like was one of the few times where we all said we don't have anything to do. So what can we do with our time? And some Chicago athletes got together. Sam Acho, Mitch Trubisky, two former Bears, reached
Tar Heel.
out and said, "There you go. See, it's a small world. It's a small world, especially in the South, man, especially in that
Yep.
South."
Yep.
But they reached out and said they were going over to the west side of Chicago, going to the neighborhood in Austin, and they were going to be a part of healing circles, addressing the social injustices at the time, addressing the struggles that families were going through with COVID. Everyone was dealing with it, but then in neighborhoods like this, we all understand that people live it harder. We talk about communities. Sam is from Nigeria, and we get on a bus with some of the kids that live in that neighborhood and we roll through and Sam's like, wow, this looks like back home, as in Africa, Nigeria. It looked like his village, with so many places being boarded up. And I just feel like I have to share and give it context for what I was shown and what I kind of lived with them for a brief moment. You know, people come to our games, people come hang out with us. We sign autographs, we take pictures, we play our games, we go home to our families. This was real life for them. And so I wanted to be a part of this sport campus, this dream, this facility, 52,000 square foot in North Austin, and I wanted to represent them as the baseball side. We have basketball, we have soccer, we have e-gaming. Of course, By the Hand is there with the education side. There's nutrition. But in my mind, I for sure know baseball. I've been a part of some inner city endeavors coming out of Atlanta, Lead to Legacy. They're there. CJ and Kelly Stewart, they've done an outstanding job starting in 2007 when I got drafted. So I was able to like see that, see the time it took to put into that, but also I was playing baseball. But I felt like this was my opportunity to give back in incentive through sport, give back in having a place to go as a community. Because when you ride through these communities, Mick, it is they call them food deserts, right? Where you see more liquor stores, 22 at the time, then you see grocery, then you see healthy foods, then you even see for like the community to come together. Like I grew up Southern Baptist. That was kind of my community away from sport and things like that, right? You don't see much of that here in these neighborhoods. So the intentional sports facility, Jason Heyward Baseball Academy, after school program for about 40 kids a week after school wise, just off of that, for them to be able to come in and say, I have something to do. I have teammates I can look forward to. I have a name in Jason Heyward that is, you know, taken in Chicago as his own and being a resident, of course, being a part of a 2016 team and winning a world championship. But that was the beginning of my introduction to living in Chicago and seeing what an impact, what I see is, I understand people will say it's a big impact, but what I see is a very small impact in a city that is very hungry to put its best foot forward in that space. That's how I got started. That's how I got introduced to North Austin, the community we're in, where the baseball academy and facility is. And I have to say, being real, it's when you don't know the space of nonprofit world, when sports are your endeavor, when that's how you gain your platform, it feels like a lot of risk taken, right? Where you're not sure how to go about it. And I think one of the phrases we use is like building the plane while it's in the air, you know, and that's kind of a constant. But here we are 3 years in, we feel like we are now, I don't want to say starting over, but we're starting from a new beginning. And we have our facility, we have our programs, we have our events, we have our student athletes that come in and want to see us. We have our families, but now we have more in a good way. We have more opportunities like Derrick Rose has come through, Angela Reese has come through. You talk about the colleges and universities that come through and want to have their softball practices, basketball practices, hosting events. And so now we are repositioning ourselves to take on what's next as we grow. And so that's where we are. That's kind of like why I wanted to get into it, because I understood what it was to have education and sport as an incentive to give me somewhere to go other than making another tough decision. I was fortunate enough not to have to make very tough ones myself, but I had teammates, I had best friends, I watched their families. These kids in Austin have, I would say, less like good decisions to make, so to speak, or less places to congregate that they can feel safe and trust. And it's been really, really nice to take and start this journey with this community and say, I want to be an option. I want to give you an option to go and feel safe. So that's JHBA. And here we are going on year 4, starting off this spring.
Amazing, brother. How can people that are watching or listening support the nonprofit?
They can donate. Of course, I feel like people will always say, oh, well, don't ask too much for money, or don't ask too much for people to donate time. They can donate time. They can go to Intentional Sports. That's the Instagram for the overall facility. Jason Heyward Baseball Academy is my Instagram for JHBA. But there's a link in both of those handles that will show you the events going on, the programs going on, showing where we're headed and where we'd like to go, showing what we've done, showing how crime rate has gone down in the surrounding area and made an impact. And then, of course, donating time, donating money. There are also links to do that as well. And when I say this, any little thing, is awesome. Whatever someone feels like they can give is awesome because it's going directly to kids. It's going directly to families. When I'm in there training in the off season and lifting, hitting, seeing like mothers and aunts and uncles come through some days just to walk the track, just to walk around the turf. For me, that's amazing because they have somewhere to go, right? They have somewhere indoors, they have somewhere safe, somewhere reliable. And so, lastly, seeing kids come through and have their field days. I remember field day growing up, man. Even my senior year in high school, we were supposed to have a senior trip in Henry County, and they're like, you know what, we're just gonna have a field day, and we're supposed to go to Disney World. But they're like, no, we're just gonna walk across the street and we're gonna go to our football stadium, and you guys are gonna have a day, water balloons, this and that. Well, seeing this facility when I show up every day to work out, seeing the people that come through, D Rose and so on, it feels like United Center vibes. It's not the United Center. Michael Jordan didn't play there, right? But for this community, I think that's what's special about it. It's something to take pride in, and it's also hope for a new level of progress. So that's how people can get involved. But I have to share the story. I have to share the vibes because every time I walk in and leave, I get chills about being humbled to one, be able to use this space to work out. Two, my family can come and go. And see, hey, like this is what we're doing. This is our contribution, and then just the kids and the families, man. Just want to continue to get better and sharpen that for them.
I love it. I'm gonna make sure that we have links everywhere to
Thank you,
support
thank you.
both the facility and your academy. If you're watching, if you're listening, I don't ask for a lot of favors, but I am gonna ask this time. Like, if you can donate financially, please do. If you live locally, if you're a leader, if you're a speaker and you're going to be in the Chicago area, man, donate some time. All things matter. All things matter because you never know who you're going to touch, who you're going to inspire. And I'm proof of that just by going to things when I was a kid. Of you never know the lesson that you're going to give someone, or a small thing that matters. And for Jason and for everybody that's a part of the academy, that's a part of the facility, it takes a village. And so all the support that you
Definitely.
can give, I can promise you they're going to appreciate. And there's nothing that's too small. Like, even if you can just be somewhere for 20 minutes, you never know what that 20 minutes means to Jason and the staff there, man. So, Jason, I'm going to do my part to help push and promote. And we'll talk offline, but when I'm in the area, I'm going to go donate financially and also some time too, man.
Appreciate you, man. And that's huge. Thank you for bringing it up. Thank you for asking me about the facility, the academy, and also thanks for showing us love, man. We appreciate anyone who wants to come by, come through, and we'll do our best to make you feel warm welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Jason. I know your time is valuable. I'm gonna get you out of here with my top five rapid fire.
Let's
Ready?
go.
All right. Who was your goat athlete growing up?
Hey, my GOAT athlete. I had two favorite players in baseball. My GOAT athlete, Derek Jeter, captain of the Yankees, coming in his rookie year, his first, winning a World Series, even though it was against my Braves. But just the way he handled it the rest of the way. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to always be pretty. He dealt with New York media, and then the more over time I learned about the sport, the more I learned about the tradition in the Yankees, and that expectation. It solidified it for me, and fortunately, I've been able to meet Jeet and play against him, compete against him, follow his life a little bit after baseball. And so for me, rest in peace, he's kind of like the Kobe of baseball for me because I'm a born in '89. MJ started a little bit sooner than when I was born, so I didn't get to follow it the same way I was able to follow Kobe. So Derek Jeter for me is my GOAT athlete.
All right. I love Jeter as a human being, but I'm a Red Sox and a Brave. So if he'd have been a Red Sox, he would be my greatest of all time, man. Greatest of all.
Understood.
Uh, when you got to get motivated, when you got to get pumped up, what song is in your ear? What's in your earbuds?
I'm gonna say right now it is "On One Tonight" by Gunna.
Okay.
"On One Tonight" by Gunna because this that album, I feel like it was him having to address a lot of the tough times that he's gone through, you know, legally, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like, especially from the South, I'm sure you can testify on this, but I feel like you don't see as many artists come out of it as well as he has. Even with dealing with the Young Thug stuff, I know we're all torn and we want to see great music be great music. We want to see these guys fellowship and grind together. But for me, On One Tonight is a testament to, he's like, man, you know what? Like, I've been politically correct. I've said my apologies. I've, taken some things on the chin, but right now I'm on one tonight and I gotta go do my thing and I gotta be Sergio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love it. What has been your favorite ballpark to play in, either at home or away?
There's gonna be more for me, more votes for Wrigley Field on the north side of Chicago, even before being a Cub for playing there for 7 years as a visitor. For one, a lot of firsts there, like first grand slam there, first two
Mhm.
homer game there. I
Mhm.
think like first like 4-hit game there, something like that, 5-hit game there. A lot of cool firsts, but then just what Wrigley is in itself, being able to experience the old clubhouse on the visiting side, walking down the turns as you get closer to the field, the more you smell the grass, the more you smell the history, the amount of former baseball players and people and politicians that have set foot in this cathedral on
Yeah.
the north side of Chicago for me was super special to feel. And then like once you zoom out, then you get Lake Michigan, then you get Lake Shore, then you get the Chicago vibes, you get Wrigleyville, you get the rest of downtown. You get the fireworks from every Wednesday, Saturday from Memorial Day to Labor Day. You get the air and water show. So for me as a whole, Wrigley Field itself just they do baseball, right? That's what Wrigley does. It does baseball. It does it in the neighborhood. The neighborhood opens up. People go to their jobs. The players, the fans come in and operate, play the 120-day game. The game ends, and then everyone goes back to enjoying Chicago as it was. So for me, that's my easy Wrigley Field is it.
Easy enough. Easy enough. What is your favorite ballpark food?
So if it's French toast, we're talking ballpark food. See, when I answered that, I immediately obviously thought as a player.
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah. Breakfast food. It's French toast, bacon, scrambled eggs with spinach, pancakes. Maybe there's some like blueberries in them, bacon, scrambled eggs, spinach, fruit before the game. That's my vibe on getting to the field and having a good meal before we go tackle that day game.
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna get you out of here on this one. As the story of Jay Hay continues to evolve, what's one word you want in that story?
One word, my story as it continues to evolve. Man, I'm thinking about being a dad. I'm thinking about business. I'm thinking about nonprofit. I'm thinking professional, or just something to tie all this together. I don't want to say surprising. I don't want to say. I think I will go with. We'll go with dedicated. I want to say dedicated. That's where I'll leave it because that's in order to be where I would like to continue to go, continue progressing in every aspect of my life. It's dedicated, and I think that's what's going to have to be the constant.
That is you. I can see that, man. I can see that. Jason, brother, you mean more than you'll ever know to me. I can't wait to see what happens in 26 for you, no matter what you do, where you go, how you do it. I'm there with you, man. So, like, everybody says they have a number one fan. Well, that's me for you, bro. So, whatever you're doing, I'm there with you, man.
I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate the hospitality. I appreciate you being genuine, right, and shooting me straight. I know you will. And if you ever see anything where you feel like, oh, nah, Jay, you could have did this different now that we've formally met via the podcast, let me know. Let me know, man. Would love to trade stories, love to trade ideas. So iron sharpening iron, man. I appreciate you. It's been an honor to be on.
I
Thanks for having me.
appreciate you too. I appreciate you too. And for all the viewers and listeners, remember your because is your superpower. Go unleash it. You've been plugged into Mick Unplugged. Don't just listen, take action. Rate and subscribe. Follow me on social and get the full experience at MickHuntOfficial.com. Keep building, keep leading, and most importantly, keep dominating.